Welcome to the Three Technoteers. I'm Steven, and I'm joined by Chilton and Tony. And I just want to take a second to appreciate what we have living in the future as we are. Social media. Chilton, me and you, we do not actually know each other than through social media and doing these chats. Uh, we would
Absolutely.
never have met each other ever, ever if it wasn't for the internet and social media. And
Yeah,
then
that's right.
me and Tony, we're old friends, but like middle school friends, kind of old.
Yeah,
And so like those kinds of friendships, they fall off the wayside. They just eventually fade away and stuff because keeping track of phone numbers is hard to do. After 10 years, someone's gone.
Yeah.
You're not going to find them again. And so with the internet, I can just get on Facebook, type in Tony Smith. Oh yeah, there he is. Let's go see what's up. Bam, done. We're in communication again. Like it's amazing living in the future. And it sucks that most of the time people spend their social media usage complaining about the bad stuff in the world instead of appreciating the good stuff. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. Like I've been trying to put together this weekly skateboard event here in OKC where we just go skate around downtown, try and find cool places to skate and just explore and whatnot. And it's just occurring to me, it's like I'm literally just using my free will to just execute some idea I have. And I couldn't do that if it wasn't for the internet. It's so wild.
sure.
It's so
You'd
wild what
have
we're able to
you'd
do
have
now.
a lot more, physical labor, right? Like you'd literally have to go downtown. You'd have to go talk to everyone that you could see down and around there. And now
Yeah.
you can just
And like
literally,
print out flyers, and like
yeah,
yeah, dude, it's amazing. Like it's wild what's available nowadays for us.
yeah. I think I'll say
And
that like, oh,
and
go
so
ahead, Children. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Good.
I was just going to state that like for us tech wise and stuff, like living into the future, this almost feels, in my opinion, this feels like an Iron Age. Like this, like after we cross that line with actually truly getting and using this AI tools and stuff like that, I really personally feel like we're in this new Iron Age where
Oh yeah,
we've
no, it
crossed
definitely
the line.
feels
Like,
different. Like it feels like we are in some new age, like for sure. Like it just like every decade before this felt different or whatever. Like the 90s had their own feel and the 80s had their own feel, 70s had their own feel. Well, that kind of once you got to the 2000s, it kind of just started all blending together every decade. But it's I think it's because we are just in a totally new age now. So it's
yeah.
the age of Aquarius. Yeah.
I mean, it might as well be. If you think about it, not really, okay. So you brought up some interesting stuff. So I've been doing this programming thing a long time, and I know a lot of guys from the ancient days. That would be the 90s. And so I looked up some of these guys that I used to know, I used to talk to on a regular basis from the early 90s and I was just going to college then. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are older than me that have, the same, they say the same thing about the 80s and probably the 70s and 60s. But I, there's this one guy that I used to talk to all the time, and he was kind of a big shot in the computer industry. And I hadn't heard from him in a while. So I decided I'd go look him up. And it turns out he sold his company and he bought a little piece of land and all this stuff. And then apparently about 10 years ago, he just went kind of bonkers. And he's on Facebook, but he's only got like four people that are friends of his on Facebook. And every day he posts angry rants about everything. And it's like, what happened, man? He was like the king of this whole part of the software industry and just went way off on the off ramp.
He bought
But
that land and spent too much time alone.
he, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a big part of it. So the weird thing to me is that the internet lets me basically go, oh, here's my old friend. I'm going to go find out about him. And then I get to go read his philosophy and think about all the things that he's thought about for the last year.
Yeah.
and then go,
Without ever
yeah, I
even
don't know if I
talking to
want to
him.
talk to this guy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without talking to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
completely.
It's like caller
I
ID
mean,
in a way.
it is. And if you think about like when you were kids, I don't know if you had anything like this, but I mean, I certainly didn't have any kind of um, access to any information about anyone that I was hanging out with. So if I met a new kid, it was like, greetings, here is our handshake, and now we will pretend like we're both nice people. You don't know who the other person is at all, you
Yeah.
know?
You can go
And
ask your
now,
friends like, "Hey, have you met this kid Joey?"
yeah, do you know
But that's
the
about
new
it,
kid? What Yeah. Why has he always got blood on his hands? What's his deal? You know? Yeah. But
Yeah.
now you could go on social media and you could go, oh, this guy, new guy. Let me check in here. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Or maybe, oh my God, this guy has the same interests as me, but he didn't say anything because he was worried that he would come out as a professional micronaut collector also, or that he was a big fan of He-Man also, and so it's one of those things where you have so much more access to information about other people now and access to other people. It's just mind-boggling. But people don't, everyone's unhappy, like you pointed out. There are a lot of people that are just complaining all the time.
yeah. And it's just because they're focusing on the wrong stuff too, you know, uh
Oh yeah,
like I've been, as an adult, I have been wondering how the hell do people make friends as adults, Like you're not in that constant school environment or whatever where you're just always around people and all that. And like, with my job, I do food delivery, so like I don't have coworkers or anything like that. So I'm not making friends at work or anything either. And so it's like social media and like especially with like how they got the algorithms nowadays and stuff, it literally brings people together and stuff, and as long as you're focused on the right aspects of the social media experience, then man, it can be just one of the greatest tools that we've ever created, as far as
absolutely.
social interaction and whatnot. The problem is arguing is fun.
Mhm.
Oh, it
That
is.
dopamine drop. It's a big dopamine rush, you know. You get to
Hmm.
you get to say whatever you want and become the
Hmm.
keyboard warrior and
Yep.
turn back there and
Bah,
say
bah, bah,
whatever. And
bah,
then
bah, bah.
yeah, at
Yeah,
the
take that.
yeah, and then at the end of it all, you're just like, okay, at worst case scenario, I'll make another profile,
Yeah.
because you'll see a lot of these people that'll come up with like these anonymous profiles, right? Like they'll just go in there and they just like raw dog their conversation and just tear it all up. And it's just like, okay, hold on a minute. This guy's just
Yeah,
coming in here just doing this on purpose, right? But you don't
Yeah.
have
yeah,
Oh
any
yeah.
background or nothing. The double-edged sword too of having the social media stuff too is like in a work environment too. Cause now like for like an interview process or something like that,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I guarantee you, if they want to find something out about somebody, they're going to go straight to Facebook and try and look them up. And
Yeah.
it's like, so you got to be real careful on like, if you don't have your settings set correctly to where nobody can see anything, it's just a profile exists and that's it. Or to a point where you're just like, you forgot to change the settings and now you post everything up and they're like scrolling through. And let's say it's something that you don't really do. Like for instance, myself, sometimes I share some things, especially promoting our podcast and stuff, but here lately, but prior to that, I've literally just got Facebook to A, try to keep in touch with old friends, B, marketplace. And that's literally it. Like other than
yeah.
that, I don't really use it. And to be honest with you, if Facebook just came out with a marketplace app like they did with the Facebook Messenger, hands down, I probably would
Oh, that's
never really
interesting.
use Facebook anymore. I would like just be a consistent, this is all
Yeah,
that's
that's really
about, and
interesting.
that's it. I
I
would
honestly
love to
don't.
do that.
I don't understand why they don't just do that. Like
I don't know.
just
I
the
to
Yeah,
me that
marketplace
just
app.
there's
Like
yeah. And
huh.
even if it was like if it's more of like a purchase deal, right? Because Facebook has all those ads, so you can scroll through Facebook and stuff because you don't really get ads when you're on Marketplace, right? But if they managed a way to be able to, do that, or if you wanted to use like a Marketplace Premium and that's an app only by itself, like instead of just using, and pay $10 for a lifetime subscription or something,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that would be
So
that would be
when you
awesome.
you use so I don't use Marketplace that much, except occasionally I'll do something like I posted a Rubik's Cube and I said it was $1,000. It's an impossible puzzle. and no one can solve it. And then everyone who commented on it and said they asked, if I was stupid, I said, don't call me stupid just because you can't solve it. And aside from that, I think I've sold one share on the marketplace, and that's it. I don't use it much. So what do you use it for? I'm curious about this. This is
I honestly, realistically, I use it to I buy stuff. Like here, I'll start it from the beginning. Like we're such a throwaway country. Like, if something breaks, it's easier for them just to go buy a new one because people don't necessarily take the time to learn to fix things. And or they are not that they don't want to take the time to learn to fix it, but more so of like take the time to fix it. Okay. And so like it's easier for them just to go buy something. So for me, on the other hand, I'm always looking for something profitable. And and of course there's always that leeway, like what's considered profitable. Like, okay, if I spend time and do this, it's that trifecta, right? So like for me, I have to set a threshold for money wise if I want to flip something. And if it's something that's broken that can be easily fixed, and then I can flip it for even more, I'm more than likely going to do that.
so you're
But like
flipping
more so,
stuff
it's
on
like,
Marketplace.
For me,
yeah,
I
yeah,
use Marketplace to
Oh,
buy vehicles. That's where I get all
right,
of my vehicles.
right.
huh.
I mean, it used to be like Craigslist. Like you used to go on Craigslist and go on there
Yeah.
and see what's under like barter or whatever's for sale or something like that. And like for me, uh, not necessarily automotive, but like I know Steve, you've done that quite a bit where you've come in, picked up some cars. I mean, you've even repaired battery cells on, Toyota Priuses. I remember you had a couple of videos. That was probably 5 years ago, maybe, but
Something like
Wow.
that.
I remember something like that. And
Well, that wasn't a flip
you,
though. That was just one of
So
our
pretty
personal
cool.
vehicles.
oh, touche, touche. But still though, like so, something like that
So
where they can't drive the vehicle, but tech people like us know how that you can fix these things. And it's crazy when you really see that they're like, it was 18650 batteries, just series stacked. Like that's crazy to me. But
really,
so basically like that for me, that's what I look all the time. It doesn't matter where I'm at. And
huh,
actually I get like kind of excited. That's like my dopamine drop. So like for instance, we were just in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and so I'm like on there looking for specific stuff, like stuff that I know that like I could easily flip because I know in that area with it being such a higher influx of money, which means people will let things go for a lot less because
right.
they've already bought something new. And so,
Yeah.
like, for me, like arcades, right? Big popular area. So, like, arcades, if I know I've got the room, dartboards, like arcade dartboards and stuff like that, because those are easy flips. So,
Oh,
like, those are PCB boards that usually like, hey, the monitor doesn't work anymore. It's like, okay, well, it's an old CRT monitor. Now look online. And I'm like, all right, well, I can get a 19-inch monitor, which if I don't already have one, and I would just swap that out. And then now they have an LCD monitor instead of a CRT, and I could flip it. So like Arachnid is a big one that's a big name. And usually you can get those broken for $200 non-working. And it's like, oh, okay, flip a monitor into it, fire it up, it works. And those go for anywhere for like $1,000 to $1,200. So,
really?
and yeah. So it's like stuff like that is
So,
like what I usually look
so
for.
do people go to your house to pick up the equipment, or how do you get it to them? Like
No,
if you built a
I will usually either meet publicly. Uh, I don't ever have them come to my house. I don't trust that not one bit. So I'll
right,
have them
right.
meet
So,
publicly, or if they're comfortable with me coming to their house, do that stuff. That's fine, But other than that, just because at my house, if that's usually where I'm fixing everything. So like if I open my garage up, you're gonna see all my arcades and all that stuff in there, and I'm like, I'd prefer to not have to deal with that if you came back here. So,
Yeah.
plus I've got security systems and stuff like that too that I'm just like, yeah, probably don't want to do that, sir. So, but
awesome. Okay, okay.
yeah,
So, and then do you and I'm sorry to derail the whole thing here, but I'm just fascinated by this. So, do you do like do you request a certain amount of the payment up front, or do you do cash on delivery? How do you usually handle that?
Oh, you just meet in
that's
person and pay
usually
cash.
cash in person, I haven't really done anything like service wise, you know what I mean? Like I haven't posted up there like, "Hey, you got this, I
Okay.
can fix it for you," you
Oh,
know?
they don't let
That's
you
something
post that kind of stuff on Marketplace. I've
yeah,
tried and
marketplace
they take it
they
down.
get
They don't.
flagged,
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't let you post services only
Interesting.
items
Yep.
Interesting.
because services could get sketchy very quick.
Well, I got a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff I need to upload, so I'm gonna try it out.
The other thing, the biggest thing is like you just got to be patient because like the you'll have if you ever scroll through or whatever, you know, since we're talking about it now, but like you'll see videos where like this is how marketplace acts and it's like, "Hey, do you still have this available?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's available, blah blah blah." And they're just like, and they
Yeah,
It
don't say
disappears.
nothing
Yeah.
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
Or
get
they'll want to
20
meet
of
up.
those for every person that actually
Yeah.
says something.
Yeah. Like you just got to be patient with it. So, you know,
Yeah,
and you got to take, they're out there. They're going to do it. They're going to ghost you. They're going to do all that stuff. So I never set up a meet until they're like, I'm ready to leave right now.
yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
do I need to go? And it's like, hey, we're
Exactly.
going to meet here at this time. And it's like, and I always do it if I'm in passing. So that way it's not like directly out of my way. Like I drove somewhere a half hour or
Oh, I see.
whatever, you know. So it's just like, hey, I'm going in town to go to the store, and it's just like, hey, you can, you know, they'll be like, hey, when are you ready? And be like, hey, meet me here at noon at Walmart parking lot because there's cameras around and stuff like that. So it's like, meet me here at noon at Walmart parking lot. Da, 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 da. And usually, I've never had anybody ghost me, knock on wood, but usually that works out. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I love
Okay.
Marketplace. Like it's where I get all of my stuff. Like literally all of my stuff. My TV, my 3D printer, uh, all of my cars, my motorcycle, like literally everything I own other than like this computer, which I bought brand new, but like otherwise, yeah, like everything's from Marketplace. So you can get a TV, perfectly fine TV for 20 bucks, 50-inch TV. That's what I got. $20
yeah,
for a 50-inch TV. And then I found the TV I'm using in here actually is probably 36-inch, 40-inch, something like that. And got this for $10,
yeah.
like dude,
I mean,
it's
like that's
awesome.
I've only bought two TVs brand new from the store, and that was like back in college when
Yeah.
LCDs first came out for
Hmm.
1,200 bucks, and then I bought a 60-inch when after college and stuff like that, and I bought that for our living room. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's cool. Ever since then, I've never bought a new TV. So like
Yeah,
I in
there's
my
no reason.
garage,
Like,
yeah, in my garage, I got a 75-inch TV for free. Didn't work. Took it apart, replaced the control board in it, and a new LCD or LED light strip that for it. I spent $65 total for everything, put it back together, and that's what I use now.
hell yeah.
I mean, you know, and
Awesome.
$30 for backlights on TVs, 30, 35
Yep.
bucks. As long as you know, and that's the thing, like the social media side of things is such as YouTube also, like it was always a joke where it's just like, oh yeah, you're just gonna watch YouTube certified. If there isn't a single person that isn't out there looking it up on Google straight to YouTube, you're lying. Because I guarantee you, there's if you're looking at, and it doesn't matter what it is, what you're trying to learn, somebody out there has done it. And that goes back again to the social media things. I love people when we're able to share this kind of stuff and just have it all put together like that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's helped me out a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
another
I mean,
thing, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say that I'm at my neighbor's house right now, and he's gonna be back in a few minutes. But I told him I'd come over here and wait for him, and he's got these things that he sells that are called light guards that are used in giant manufacturing plants to prevent workplace injuries. He sells this really unique version of it that no one else on the planet sells,
Was
and he has
so
one
like
guy that
lights
makes them
can't
for him.
get busted or something?
Well, no, it's what it is. It's a like a laser fence that you have a big
Oh
thing over
yeah,
here and you got a thing over here, and
infrared.
yeah, and it fires these
Yeah,
lasers. And his uses this cross matrix thing that creates this like web of infrared light. And then if you run your hand through it, it can trigger a stop button right on the machine.
yeah.
And
Mm,
So
so and so he makes these things. But if it weren't for the internet, how the hell would he sell these? He'd have
yeah.
to go like to the
Oh yeah,
manufacturing shops and print stuff and send it to
display.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
right
like
now, people say, oh, we were looking for one of these. We Googled it. We looked on YouTube. There you are talking about your light guard. We bought light guard just like that. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. There's a German company, Sick is who I was used to using,
Hmm.
and they had light guards where it was just like light guard fencing, where you
Yeah.
have your portion, send a receiver, and then anytime you cross that, it do a safety hard stop. So everything would just stop in motion, so that way nobody would get hurt. And then we also had these floor ones that were set up about 6 inches off the ground. And what was really cool is that you could do mapping. So, like in this mapping, for instance, if you had a taped area where somebody could walk into this area with no post fully open, you could walk within that area. Of course, you would have to have it taped off, but once you cross that line, it would detect it as a person. It's kind of like now with like our camera doorbells. Now you
Sure.
could set your like your angles of like anything within this area, then it would, send me an alarm saying, "Hey, there's a person detected at your door." Because, for me, my front facing like cars drive by and stuff. So if I had none of those turned on, it'd be like, "Oh, cars at your, a car, vehicle detected, vehicle detected." And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get tired of that. But that's
So
one of the things that we
you're
had
able to
in
like
a few of these.
select specific areas of the screen or whatever that it looks at.
Yeah, you
That's cool.
literally draw and map out your floor spacing area of where you would have that safety guarded at. It was
That's
really
cool.
cool.
That is cool.
Hmm. Heck yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, now I'm sold on the whole marketplace thing, so I'm going to go sell some stuff on it, see what happens.
Yeah,
I'll let you
dude,
know.
Yeah.
marketplace is amazing. Like I will find stuff on the side of the road sometimes too and just list it on marketplace. Sell it, 20 bucks, real easy. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. And you know, in situations like that, even if something did happen, we got the thing for free off the side of the road. So it's like, okay, you're robbing me. Here you go. It doesn't matter to
Yeah.
me. Like,
The
Yeah.
the the one thing I said is I sold a chair. I needed a new chair. There was only one place in town that had one. They had one left that would fit my giant rear. And so we drive over there and we picked it up and it was on sale. And it was just an insane sale. It was like 60% off. And it was the last one they had. And I bought it. And then we get home, I immediately sat in it and was like, this is not it. It just doesn't feel right. I don't like it. And there was no, it was a clearance item, so it wasn't, I couldn't return it. And I remember my wife saying, well, let's just put it on the marketplace and see what happens. So we put it on the marketplace and she put the list price for it. And I swear that thing went on there 20 minutes before this guy calls and he's like, I want that chair right now. Mine just broke. They don't make them anymore and I
mhm,
can't find any in town. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
we met the guy, dropped it off. In that one day, I made many hundreds of dollars off of that, and he was happy. He went away completely happy. I went away happy. I mean, it was just, and I didn't have to get rid of a chair.
yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm gonna go play with the marketplace thing. I really hadn't even considered that. And I know a lot of people, like you're saying, you apparently are on there all the time, and I don't really go on there that much. I need to check that out. That's awesome.
It does take a lot. Like, you have to actually be on there. Like, basically, like how how often the normal person scrolls Facebook, that's how often you got to be scrolling Marketplace to get all the good deals and stuff.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you'll get lucky and you might just see something when you're jumping on there, but most of the time, yeah, you have to be invested in it.
I have the worst um, computer problem I'm trying to solve right now with a tablet PC made by Huion, and I'm they're it's a tiny power ribbon cable, not a ribbon cable. It's an exposed one of those just copper dual cable things, and it's at the corner on. There's a piece of metal that goes around, not metal. There's a piece of hard plastic around a piece of metal at a corner, and a friend of mine said that they dropped it on the corner and it stopped working. And I thought, well, that's really lame. This is a brand new laptop. I mean, a tablet. So I contacted them and asked them if there's a repair person. They said no. it would be cheaper to throw it away and then give me a discount on a new one. So, because they only repair them in China. So to
Mm.
ship it over there and ship it back and everything would cost more than the actual tablet. So that's hilarious. So I've been contemplating taking it apart and going all the way to fix it. I just hate to do it because it's such a mess, and the whole thing internally is held together by tape, by lots and lots of tape and glue. There are no screws holding anything together inside, which is hilarious. Um, I'm used to working on PCs and Macs that you have boards that you can take apart and you can see clearly what they are. This is literally parts of it are just taped over with like a non-conductive tape, and then taped again with something else, and then taped to hold on to something. It's insane.
That's
So
yeah, that looks like one of my little Arduino projects or something.
it does. It looks
Like
like an
it's
Arduino project on the inside.
crazy.
It really does. A solid product on the outside, Arduino on the inside. So Um, but the thing is, I was doing this and I was working on this a few days ago and I thought, yeah, I wonder how many other people have this kind of problem. It didn't even occur to me that, there are probably people on Marketplace selling broken tablets like this that you could just fix if you know how to fix them
Oh yeah.
and turn around and sell them. And really, I think that the one trade that is necessary for that is electronics. I mean, for flipping, stuff that's going to be easy to fix. You don't have to sweat to fix it. And then when you're done, you're selling it at a much higher margin. Usually electronics fits that pretty well.
Yeah.
TVs, like you said, the
Yeah.
TV, man, I've repaired about three or four of those large screen TVs by just replacing the logic board on it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind doing some physical labor, we've actually been getting into flipping camper trailers. Like buy them for like $1,000,
That's awesome.
fix them up some, put some new flooring in them, clean them up, fix
Oh,
any
wow.
leaks or whatever, that it's just easy stuff, like put a couple $100 into them, sell them for 3 grand, like
Hmm.
it's good money. It's just you have to be on marketplace a lot because finding the good deals on them is hard. But yeah, like you could do that with campers, cars, electronics, ju- just
Interesting.
everything. Like literally, like any kind of thing that can be repaired, you can get it for cheap on marketplace and then fix it and then sell it for more expensive on marketplace.
That's awesome. All right, so I'm curious about you guys and your electronics backgrounds. Tony, how'd you learn electronics?
So personally, I've learned electronics. Probably it started
We got
really.
about 5 minutes left, by the way.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
Okay. I'll fastly summarize. I'd say probably about when I was about 12 years old, I started messing around and tinkering around with this stuff. I was combining RC cars to do stuff, and realistically, it was like I'd buy these broken ones at like a Salvation Army.
and we
I
had
directly
X mods back
remember.
in the day too.
Oh yeah, then we rolled into the X
Oh,
mods. Yeah, that was really cool. That was very intricate, cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
That's
got the remote and
that's
everything.
Oh man, that's
Dude,
so cool.
yeah.
Oh my God, look at
nice.
that.
Hold on.
Yeah, good old yeah, because we back when we could go to Radio Shack and buy a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, they sold these kits.
Yep, yep.
Um but yeah, so I started at a very young age messing around with stuff, messing around with PCs, just kind of intricate and finding out the hard way on fixing stuff. Like I accidentally put a password under the BIOS at like 11
Oof,
or 12 years old on a friend of
bro.
mine's computer, and I couldn't figure it out. And of course, we had to pay for it and all that stuff. And the guy knew exactly what to do once he walked in, and he showed me like, "Hey, if you ever do this again, pop the battery, the CMOS battery out, throw it back in, everything go back to default." And I'll never forget that moment because I thought I broke this thing. Like there was a rat. There was no, Fort Knox on this thing. Um, and then growing up, I kind of tinkered here and there and stuff. And uh, a, a girl I was dating, her dad was really into the tech, really, really into the tech. He had some really cool stuff that he showed, and it just like had patents on stuff, and I kind of seen like the money draw. It was like tech isn't going anywhere, we know it's not going anywhere, and it was like, wow, like there's really money to be made here and do all this stuff. And I've always tinkered with stuff. And then I got engaged, and it was like an ultimatum. I'll be honest, I was managing a GameStop at the time being, and it was just like, you're not really going anywhere. And I'm like, what? sure I am. Like, nah, you know, you should go to college and do this. There's a tech school. And I'm like, okay. And that's really started getting into like the boards and stuff like that. And then during college, I would scrape up after thunderstorms. I would be looking all over, like Facebook was kind of a thing and Marketplace was just starting up, but really it was um I just said it on there, but Craigslist, and you know, would go on there and be like, "Oh, after the thunderstorm, it doesn't work anymore." And so I started flipping TVs during college. That was like my thing, and we had full access to all the parts you can think of, any capacitors, transformers, you
Oh
name
yeah.
it, all of it. So I just would start
Wow.
doing all that and started getting into the ladder logic and stuff like that, and then walked in applying multiple times, but get into a robotics company. Started working there, did that for about 4.5 years and just continued pushing and pushing. And yeah,
Awesome.
here I am. So
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Steven? What's your really quick version of yours?
Well, I watched Johnny Five when I was really young, so yeah.
So life and all of us.
No, but
yes.
basically, like I found out about Arduinos when I was like young, like maybe, well, not young, but like 19, 20, something like that. Basically, like just a few years after they came out, probably. And I realized how easy it was to like it was how easy it was going to be to mess with them and make stuff with them and stuff. And like I had made websites with HTML and stuff when I was like a kid, like 6, 7, 8 years old when I was playing StarCraft, making websites for my clans and stuff, you know. But like shouldn't have been playing StarCraft online when I was 7 years old, but it is what it is. Um, and so yeah, I had a little bit of experience with programming through HTML and websites and stuff, and so I was able to pick up the Arduino stuff fairly easy. But then I dropped it for a while because like all the projects I kept wanting to do were just like way more complex than like what I was capable of doing. And I didn't want to do any of the boring stuff that I was actually able to do because it was boring, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just put it down for a while. Mm, got into the whole drug thing unfortunately for a few years, but it actually kind of helped because
To be clear,
uh
Steven is a pharmacist. Right? Continue.
Yes, yes, yes.
um when I was doing math, um that got me really into programming because I was having all these ideas and stuff. And so that really after that I got clean and stuff, but the programming stuck with me because all of a sudden like I had done so much when I was high that all of a sudden I'm able to do all this crazy stuff now. Like I can actually program and actually make stuff, you know? And so it just kind of stuck. And
You know,
now
this
I just
this
kind of
is going to
make
turn into
whatever that
something
comes
where
into my mind, you know?
this is going to turn into something where we're gonna look back at this. You're gonna come out with something that's going to be phenomenal and amazing, and it's going to be like those artist stories. They're like, oh yeah, you know, before we made this song, we were we were all on acid and all this stuff, and we made this great music and did all this stuff, and now it's this major hit, you know, and you'd be like, yeah, if it wasn't for the drugs, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at.
Hey, dude, I
All right.
literally
So
started
so
working on
when
my trading bot when I was doing drugs. So who knows?
so here's when I was a kid, I didn't know anyone who did drugs. I didn't know where to get drugs. I didn't find anyone until really maybe late.
You got
I
about
mean,
a
I was
minute.
probably in my 30s before I even found. But the funny thing was, 10 years ago on Facebook, I asked a question from a bunch of programmer friends of mine. What one thing can you do that makes you more productive than anyone else? Everyone else had all these suggestions about their work environment and stuff. And one guy who I'm not going to say who it was, but he is a super brilliant guy. His answer was meth. And I thought that was hilarious. But at the same time, I was like, wait. Is
There's a
he
reason a
Adderall,
bunch of yeah,
Adderall.
there's a
that he's
reason a
Everyone's
bunch
taking
of
brilliant?
Adderall.
programmers are on
Yeah.
Adderall. Like,
Adderall,
I
baby.
mean,
Everybody's on Adderall.
yeah. Ugh,
I made an entire
gross.
video about Adderall, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, well, that was a great show, guys,
Yeah.
as always. Yeah, we'll I guess we'll get together next weekend and we'll see all of y'all next week as well.